Hello, I'm Doug, and this is the World Whiskey Advent Calendar from Drinks by the Dram for 2018. And I am blind tasting my way through this thing, and it's been enjoyable, fun, humbling, and we're about to break into day 18 and find out what awaits us. I nose it and taste it without knowing what the label says, and I give you my thoughts, put together some sort of story, and then read the label, and it turns out to be very embarrassing and wrong. So we've got into the day 18 hole here. We're going to pour it out. Ooh, dark. And I'm putting the bottle over here so I can't see it while I'm doing all this. So I don't know if that's from color or time in the barrel, but we'll hopefully find out. And not by reading the label. I'm picking up maybe 40-45% alcohol on the nose. Not a lot of other notes. Could be a bourbon. I'm not getting a maltiness. There's not a lot of sweet notes or corn or age or any of those things that are typical for bourbons or scotches, so it's going to be one of those surprises. Oh, the nose is just not giving up clues. Alcohol, that's about the only one. Could be a bourbon, could be a scotch, but not based on what I'm smelling. It's just consistent with those beverages with a quiet nose. So we'll just start in. Yeah, some kind of whiskey with a little extra something from the cask, from the mash bill, from the way it's aged. I'd say it's a malt of some kind with a good, healthy ABV of 45 to 50%. It's sweet notes and some age. Kind of dusty old. Lived in leather, lived in wood, old books. There's some age coming from somewhere. I guess I can see some dark fruits like raisins and plums, dates, figs that you would get from a sherry finish or maturation. So this one's might be a little more typical, but I don't think doesn't strike me as a scotch. Might be scotch style, but I'd be surprised if it's really from Scotland. It's good, high quality. All the notes are kind of faint or muted. They're not jumping right out of the glass. But when you go look for them, it's fairly complex and nuanced. Yeah, I'd say it's older. It certainly might be something besides sherry that is finished in. Something dark and red and fruity. I'd say it's got some Speyside characteristics, apple, pear, notes to the malt. Not getting any peat, smoke. If it's peated, it's very tiny fraction of the malt. Could be a little salty. Like a coastal distillery or warehouse, but that's fairly faint also. This is good. This would be great to sip on for an hour. And a study with old books and old leather chairs and old wood furniture, because that's already what you're smelling. I hope nobody tastes those things. So it's a Scotch or Scotch style with some age, probably a sherry or other fortified wine finish or maturation exclusively. Picked up lots of color, but we don't know if it's color added or just because it's been in the barrel for so long. But those are the notes I've got so far. Oop, didn't add any water. And there's not enough to mess with. But I think I'm fairly certain in that assessment. Let's find out what the label says. That Boutique-y Whisky Company. They're an independent bottler. This is called Santis. No. Let's just read it close up where I can actually read every letter. Santis. 10-year-old batch 1. Single malt Swiss whiskey. 51.4%. So yes, it's very hefty on the ABV, carries a lot of flavor. It's got lots of character. It's not a great age. Maybe things age a little faster in Switzerland than they do in Scotland. But that is something I would seek out and go find again. It's nicely complex with some nuances, so I like it. Now I'll do a little research and put a little more info in the description down below. So if you like these reviews, go ahead and give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking. And please subscribe to the channel. We don't always review whiskeys here. This is kind of a once-a-year thing to go through all these, and it also generates content really fast in a month. But most of the time I'll be doing things like homemade bread or coffee that I roast or spicy pickled things. Black licorice is coming up soon. Varietal honeys are surprisingly interesting. So these will come in waves or series of 5 or 10 or 20 different things that are very tasty and very worthwhile looking into. So that's what the channel, Taste and Sensibility, is really about. So I think I'll just leave it at that. And Merry Christmas, and that's all for now.